If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected, you're not alone. I'm Dan Roberts, an internal family systems therapist and trauma healing specialist. I create guided meditations to help you reconnect with your inner calm and compassion. These practices are rooted in internal family systems therapy and are designed to support your healing journey, whether you're new to therapy or have been on this path for a while. You can find my full collection of meditations at danroberts.com or on Insight Timer.
Hello and welcome back to Good Groove in a new area, a new studio. Good start. This is really weird filming in here. It's so different. We have moved from the garage in my old house. I've bought my first home and now we are filming in my new home. If you can't tell already, for those who are watching.
It's warmer and cosier than the garage, I must say.
It is.
I must say.
It's really nice, isn't it?
It's a good place to be.
For those who are listening, this is absolutely irrelevant to you, but there you go. Thank you for tuning in again. Hope everyone is well. This week we wanted to kind of carry on from the last time we recorded, a bit of a chatty episode talking about the highs and lows, not necessarily with grief, obviously with grief, but highs in life and how they can impact you when you're grieving. So we did speak about Christmas last week. I've had a lot of firsts since my dad's died, so we thought it'd be good to chat through them because they're all very difficult in their own ways.
Wow, okay. I mean, I think this chat is about you, because I was saying to Jamie the other day when we were talking about this episode, I was like, you've got like so many examples of what you would say, like major positive life events.
Yeah.
And I feel like you must have felt sort of bittersweet in those, and like that's what we're trying to get at today, is like the feeling of doing something positive and being left not completely not fulfilled. I'm not saying that. Yeah, the marriage wasn't good.
Yeah, we're on the rocks already, guys.
No, but like just like high events that are like so good, and then it almost makes you grieve in like a really strange way, doesn't it? Because you're so happy and so elated, but at the same time you're like, something's missing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of started how your wedding.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of hit all milestones in not even a year since Dad's passed. So it's really weird because, yeah, I've bought a house, I've got married, I've gone on a honeymoon. May as well have a child next.
I know.
Like, that's the only thing that's missing, I guess. I won't be having a child anytime soon, even if I am having a child. But yeah, it's been really difficult because, as you said, it is so bittersweet, and I think that's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, getting married, the build up to the wedding was so hard, obviously, because Dad was heavily involved in everything. So yeah, it was really challenging on the day because he should have been there and he wasn't, and obviously he was intertwined into everything and we felt his presence. However, it was the elephant in the room that he wasn't there. And I look back on my wedding now, it was in June, however many months ago that is. Almost 6 months. Is it 6 months ago?
That can't be real.
That's
It actually
crazy. What the goddamn hell? That's nuts.
I don't.
Wow, time has flown, man. Ooh.
That's time flying.
Yes. I don't know if that was picked up on the mic, but some sounds that my new house is making. Yeah, it was really difficult. Obviously, looking back on it, I've just filled with such love and fondness, but it is so hard as well because, yeah, my dad should have been there walking me down the aisle, and it's just painful. It's painful at the same time, and I feel sometimes that I was robbed a little bit of that because, as we spoke about on my honeymoon, that was the first time I slowed down and I was so emotional on the honeymoon. I was so in so much pain and hurt, and every day I was crying, and every day was really, really hard. And I sometimes think like, oh, it's such a shame that was our honeymoon. That should have been the happiest point of our life, but it was the first time I really slowed down and felt the grief for the first time. Well, obviously not for the first time, but it did really hit me. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
It's just like we were saying so much in the last episode. It's like not setting expectations, but I think it's very, very impossible to not set an expectation when you're getting married or on your honeymoon, because we're sat here now and you're saying, well, it was a shame that I felt like that, but also back at that time we would have said to each other, you know, like, no expectations if you need to be sad. But it's natural to look back and go, well, I wish I was dancing and singing my whole honeymoon. But you know, when you lose your dad a few months before, I mean, you know, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Sorry,
exactly.
but it was really the reason why I wanted to do this episode was because you obviously bought your house. My God, time is really going quick. When did you move in?
2 weeks ago 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
And we spoke about just on text about how sort of like violent the change is when you're grieving. Like, it's not obviously just like a change of surroundings. It's like, you know, everything's up in the air and you're literally just moving your whole life from one place to the other. Did that impact you in a way that you didn't expect? And do you think it impacted you in those ways because of your loss? Like,
Yeah, I think it was harder to move. So my old home, for context, I went with Vince, my dad, to see it for the first time. So that felt really weird when I was leaving it, because the first person I'd seen it was with was him, like even before Harry had seen it. So then to then move out of that and move into this new place, I wasn't as sad about leaving it, actually. It was more coming here and knowing he was never going to see this place. My first home that I'd bought, it's a bungalow. He loved bungalows, like, and he would absolutely love this house. And I just think, like, it's sad when you new things start to take place and new things start to happen, and you have the realization of that person will never experience that with you.
Totally.
And I'm sure you feel the same with like Jam, like the fact your dad's never met her.
Yeah, it's like such a heavy feeling, because you'll feel that, like, you know, you're in sort of like the best stages of your life and you're like, it doesn't feel right that person's not here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel that heavy. Like, that is what I find really like too upfront about grief. Even being like so far in, like as far in as I am, it's like every happy thing comes with almost like a little asterisk. It's like, don't get too happy.
So true.
And I'm not obviously dreading my wedding, but I feel like it's the emotion of all those good feelings. Might just, well, I think they will catch me. I don't think it's going to be off guard. I think I'm very prepared to be a bit emotional because my dad won't be there on my wedding day. But like, how would you sort of advise from like how you prepared? I mean, this is the problem. I feel like a sicko asking you this, because like it literally happened like 5 minutes before.
I know. Yeah, like, I can't say there was much prep, because it was 4 months before our wedding that he died. But I guess, as you would anyway, just filling the day with them, like making sure there's just snippets of them throughout. And that was something I felt was really powerful about our day, because I felt so close to him. You know, just like having his picture on my flowers, wearing his ashes, like with my wedding dress was meant to be around my neck, but I actually pre-planned the necklace, so sorry Vince, you had to go on the wrist. But yeah, it was just like, just making sure that they are featured as much as possible, and that is really hard. But in all honesty, I think on your wedding day you are just in such a buzz and there's so much excitement. Not that you don't think of them, but you're just so happy that you think of them in a happy way.
Positive light.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me it was the lead up that was hard, and the aftermath that was challenging, because that's when you do have that realization and the heaviness of, okay, that happened and it was amazing, but it happened without them here. But you know you'll always carry them with you, and that's not the way you want to carry them. But yeah, I think that's my advice. Just have little kind of memories and feature them as heavily as you can in the day, in whatever way that looks.
Nice, noted. I will hopefully you'll make it. I think the problem with the sort of like happiness and like, you know, life events, like highs in life, and then missing out with that person, it's just a lifelong struggle, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I've been really emotional. You're gonna laugh at me because Arsenal are actually good now.
Oh yeah.
And I keep getting really
Beat Chelsea with 10 men, though, could they?
We should, yeah, we'll do a spin-off. I get really like randomly upset when I think about like if Arsenal won the league, if Arsenal won a trophy, that I almost like don't want it to happen. And you're gonna go, well, it won't. I almost don't want it to happen because I'm almost afraid of the high feeling too empty.
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest passion in life, and I think, as you've said so many times about, you know, yourself and Oscar with football, it resonates so much with Vince, and I feel exactly the same with my dad, and it's like you almost fear like these positive like things happening because I'm like, how am I actually going to experience that without the person that made me love it?
Yeah, that's I think that's so valid, and I think football is one that we really like align with, isn't it? For example, like Scotland with that crazy result the other day, that really upset me way more than I thought. Like, because I was just so gutted that for him as well, that he missed probably the most historic game they've had in decades. I know. It was crazy. And I just think like life is so unfair, and it kind of winds me up as well. It's just like you're just like pissed off that they've missed that. And I think to other people it's like they can't relate because it's like, oh, it's only a football game, but it means so much when that is your hobby or your passion you had with that person. It's really difficult, but as you said, Arsenal aren't going to win the league, so you'll be right. I'm joking. But no, it is really dark.
I'm going to get him to haunt you. I'm honestly going to get him to haunt you.
You did set me up.
I did, and I didn't even want to say it. Look, there he is. But no, it's just like, I think everyone that has lost someone, like in any capacity, not just for a bereavement, is when you see something or like hear something and you just think, oh, that person, and then I think it's a whole new obstacle to sort of like break through the barrier and then go and experience it without them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't really know what context to put it in because I think everyone can sort of imagine if you've lost someone and you can imagine doing an activity and then that person's not there.
Yeah.
It's so, I keep saying violent, but I don't think that's what I want to say. It's so just in your face. Like it's just, it's impossible to escape, and it just hammers home the message of grief, which is just sort of adapting to live a life that you didn't really ask to live. And yeah.
It's so confronting, isn't it? Sorry, guys. I don't know if you can... Yeah.
That's the word.
I don't know if you can hear that it's quite a windy day. Well, it's not quite. It's like the stormiest day ever.
We are in the middle of a hurricane.
So if this is picking up on the mic, it will get better. We won't film when there's storms. But no, I think you're so right there with like how confronting it can be. I think the problem is a lot of the time some of these events come up, and I guess with football it's one that we don't always expect so much. So sometimes when you've got the lead up of an event, you know, Christmas as an example, I'm thinking it's going to be terrible, and it probably will be, but they're not always as bad as you think.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the things that catch you off guard, like Scotland winning as an example, Arsenal doing well, that really caught us off guard. It's a lot more painful because you're not preparing for it mentally, I guess.
I think, yeah, when you tell someone, like, if someone had said to me, for example, before I lost my dad, like, oh, you're going to get more upset at the idea of Arsenal winning the league than you will about seeing a picture of your dad or, like, remembering him when he was poorly. And I'm like, don't be so stupid.
Yeah.
And then when you live in that reality, it's like, oh my God. It feels like stolen memories almost, doesn't it? It's like you know, I had so many plans to celebrate these things with these people, and unfortunately it's not going to happen. And it's really hard to get your head around. I think it's exactly what we said in the permanence episode, isn't it? It's like, how do you actually comprehend that the rest of your life that person's not going to be there? And it's depressing and it's confronting, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and it's the hardest it is what it is that you're ever going to have to get over.
God, yeah. It's a tough one to swallow. And the thing is with the quote, it is what it is, like, you usually apply that to a situation that happens like once, or, you know, that just like something that's irrelevant. But with grief, it is just a constant cycle of having the realization over and over and over again. And like it, I think that's one thing that shocks me so much with it, and we've said it before, it's just the constant getting your head around the fact you're never going to see that person again, and you're going to live for the rest of your life without having a conversation, a hug, anything with them. It is that permanence, and it's getting your head around that, which is really difficult. What would you say with like the lead up of events and things, and stuff that you find challenging? What is your advice to other grievers? I know it's really difficult, because what advice can you give, really?
Well, it's kind of a combination. I have to say it every time of what you said about you know, the wedding, and like keeping a piece of them in that experience, if that's what you want to do. But again, it's just the no expectations thing. And I feel like I'm really exhausting that phrase, but also at the same time I don't really know how else to put it, because you can't sort of like tell yourself like, I'm going to handle this day well, or this day is going to be absolutely terrible, when you haven't lived it yet. Because it could be really well, and then you walk outside and get shattered by a bird, and then you get upset and remember, oh, this was meant to be a good day, now it's awful, and now I'm thinking about everything bad. Or, you know, the flip side, the opposite could happen.
What's the opposite? You shitting on a bird?
Stranger things have happened. Sounds so sorry, comedy podcast. It's just not putting pressure on yourself, but I also think it's a very natural human emotion when you are grieving, to when people say, you know, put on a brave face, and everyone's done it. I've done it, because the truth is, you don't want to be crying all the time. I don't want sympathy as well. I don't know how you feel about sympathy. I don't want to.
No, I think it's true. Sometimes like sympathy does make things worse, because you're just like, oh my God, don't feel sorry for me. Like, I just need to get through this without, because ultimately it's the reality, isn't it? Like,
yes,
I know the amount of times I've heard someone say to her, like, I don't know how you get through this. I don't know how you're doing this. She's like, I've got no fucking choice. Like, I have to keep putting one foot forward. This is life. And like, I think it's really hard, because people checking in is obviously amazing and valuable, and it's really lovely. But I think sometimes when like people over sympathise, it does just make you think, oh God, thanks for making me realise that my life's really shit. Like,
well, it's like that, isn't it? Because it's like on Father's Day, I don't really want to receive a message like, I can't imagine what you're going through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm going for it. So...
I'm going for it. You don't need to imagine it. You can go and have a great day.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here raining. Like, but also, as someone that has, like, you know, watched other people grieve, the first thing that you do think is like, I can't imagine what they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying that I don't want sympathy and stuff like that, but I am also saying that, like, don't sympathise for the situation to the point where you then backhandedly offend someone.
Yeah.
And I think milestones and like good events are very like poignant in that aspect, because, you know, someone might, you know, not half-heartedly, but like just in a passing comment say to you like, oh, like wouldn't Vince have loved this? And, you know, you'll be like, yeah, no, totally. But then also, would you feel taken aback by that? Like,
I think people, for me, when Vince or Dad's, I want to call him Dad now.
Go for it.
I've decided.
I've
decided today I'm calling him Dad. I mean, he is my dad.
He is your dad.
But yeah, when people like say, oh, your dad would have loved this or whatever, I think that's, for me, really lovely, because it's like you're in a way telling me that you're checking in, and you're telling me that you're here, and you're acknowledging what he liked. So that's powerful for me, because it's like, wow, you really listen, and like you're bringing him into a conversation, because I think that's another thing. A lot of people don't want to bring the person who's passed away into a conversation because they're worried how it's going to like, they tread on ice, and it's like, no, we can talk about them. I like talking about them. It's important. Keeps them alive. in a way, even though they are dead, but that's spirit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it does. But yeah,
Moving on.
I just, yeah, I don't really...
What advice we got? None. Sorry, guys.
haven't actually got any advice, to be honest. I mean, but also, this isn't about advice. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just so important to just, and I know this sounds really cliche and it's almost impossible to do. I mean, I've definitely found it impossible to do. It's just be really gentle to yourself. I think every griever can sort of relate to, you know, perhaps putting yourself in a situation that you know that you really didn't have to, just to sort of feel like... It's alright.
Just me whistling.
Yeah. Maz is getting bored. She's singing a song. I don't know. I also think it's about finding a level of comfort with your new life, and that takes a lot of time to do. I mean, I've had like 5 or 6 birthdays now without my dad. Oh my God, that's loads, isn't it? So that's crazy. And each one I've had to learn something new about myself, but that doesn't make it easier when, like, you know, you'll have like 100 people wish, well, 5. You have 100 people wish you a happy birthday, and the one person that hasn't is what is going to make or break your day. And unfortunately, it breaks it because I'm not going to get a happy birthday.
Yeah, it's like grief is just a constantly unraveling tale of new emotions and new feelings, and you think that you've gone through all of the grieving process, and then new stuff gets thrown up and you deal with stuff differently throughout it, and it's always so hard. But there is light and there's darkness, and they're all mixed into one crazy journey. But I think it's just you just got to keep looking after yourself, and when you are having a bad day, taking time, like you say, to process it. And I think that is something that's so important, sitting with your emotions. Don't just doom scroll on TikTok. Don't try and like just block it out, because you have to confront them sometimes, and that is sitting in silence sometimes and just crying or lying in bed or whatever it is, journaling. Like, it's so important to be able to process what you're going through at all the different stages as well. Like, it's not you do it once. Like, you have to be constant with this.
It's like a lifelong project, isn't it?
It is.
But again, didn't ask for.
Yeah.
But I've got homework every day now. But it is. It's like, you know, you've got to maintain your sort of well-being. Otherwise, you know, it really can eat you up inside. And some days it will still eat you up inside, you know.
Yeah.
And other days you'll be able to manage it. It never goes away, does it? That's the thing. It never goes away, and you'll see parts of that person in so many things. And on, you know, celebratory occasions in your life, it doesn't mean that you can't be sort of like happy, but equally, you know, you'll always have a bit of them there in your sadness almost. I think, you know, all grievers sort of carry a sadness because we're all missing something, aren't we? Like, something is missing.
There's always a heaviness, isn't there? But some days are really bright and others are not so much. And yeah, it's just about putting one foot in front of the other, as always. My favourite quote.
And walk. I don't know what that means. Has anyone ever said that?
Oh, God.
Jam. Anyway, I think we will probably do another Christmas episode.
Yeah, I think that was a really helpful one to me. And we actually had quite a few people reach out and say it was helpful. And I think in the lead up to Christmas, for me personally, it's going to be helpful because it's my first Christmas without him. So I think, yeah, I maybe do like a bit of a Q&A about what others
I think a Q&A would
helpful.
be great, yeah.
Get you guys involved. It's been a while since we spoke to you lot over there. But yeah, thanks again for listening. Hopefully the weather wasn't too whistly.
If it's not, we'll play it off as cries to just make it really emotive. It's been a really tough episode, guys.
But yeah, thanks for listening as always.
Bye, guys.
Bye.